We're thrilled to have you join us on another great episode of Enterprise Morning on Enterprise TV, and a warm welcome to you wherever it is you're joining us from around the world. This is Enterprise Morning, like we did say, and today will be another great episode, like we always dish out to you every other day. And please, while we do all of that, please do join us on our social media handles at Enterprise TV7. And remember to also log on to our website every day at www.enterprisetvnews.com. Like, comment, and also follow us like usual. I am Henry EGBK. In a bit, we'll be going to our newspaper headlines to see what they have for us this morning. And after that, also will be our main conversation for today. Joining us in the studios to do justice to our newspaper reviews is Dr. Evans Ofeli. He is a barrister at law and also a public affairs commentator. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
And welcome to Enterprise Morning today. All right, so quickly, let's start off our newspaper headlines with the Daily Trust. And the big headline here says 2,583 Nigerians killed, 2,164 abducted in 3 months. And the writer there says, if we have reduced, we would reduce casualty figures, and that's coming from the NSA. And the sub-writer here says, there are over 300 bandits, warlords in the north fleeing villages storm Zamfara government house. And on the top strip of the same newspaper, we have federal government to get a fresh $2.2 billion World Bank loan, and that's coming from the finance minister. And many burned to death in Kogi Road accident. And on the bottom strip of the same newspaper, we have, despite increased derivation funds, all producing states owe 1.6 trillion naira. Now let's get back to the big story for today. And of course, Doctor, let's talk about this issue. Now, this report is saying over 2,583 Nigerians killed, 2,164 abducted in 3 months. This is looking more like what's happening in Libya, Lebanon, and Sudan.
Well, the Nigerian state is largely ungoverned. Even those whom the government pretend to be governing, they don't provide them with water, they don't provide them with electricity, they don't provide them with the basic amenities of life. So if you really want to evaluate the Nigerian state as currently constituted, not just that we have a large ungoverned space, there's a sense in which it could be right to say we have the entire space is ungoverned. Because the part that is governed, the government is unable to reach out. The government is so far away from the people, such that in times of need, they are unable to respond. When there's a distress call, they are unable to respond. Okay? It got bad at some point when the insurgents began to go into the barracks to take armories, displace soldiers. Any country where you have such kind of deterioration, of course, I mean, you will have people being killed, people being abducted and all that, because the center is not strong enough to withstand the level of criminality that has festered uncontrollably. How did we get here? We allowed long deprivation when people do not have means of survival, means of livelihood. They cash on criminality. And in our space, people are hardly punished. From the beginning of insurgency till now, how many persons have been tried and convicted? These are the questions you ask yourself. So you begin to get the answer as to why you have this number being kidnapped within 3 months, this number being killed within 3 months, and all that. Not too long ago, not up to a month, 3 weeks back, the entire FCT was almost invaded by, criminals.
Bandits.
Even the federal government started crying, shouting, and people were panicking because the enemy appeared to have taken occupancy of the FCT. Now it appears to have been abated, but what happened to other states? What happens to those who travel by road are not safe? Even those who travel by air are considerably not safe. And those in the city are not safe. Those in the remote villages are not safe. So we need to do something about what is going on. What is happening to us is a very serious. And in all this thing going on, you find the politicians. They are talking about 2027 election.
Exactly.
Yes, that's what they're discussing. They know that in how this person will go and this person will not go, how this person will go and this person will stay back. That's what they are discussing now. Then the West are having Yoruba Nation saga, something like that. Nobody is bothered about the real danger, the time bomb all of us are sitting on. You understand? That's why people are leaving the country.
Now, some analysts have come up to say, of course, they have said it's not peculiar to us. Then when you look at Latin America, in Mexico, for example, the Medellin cartel, the drug cartels and everything, that is more worse than what we have in here. So therefore, we shouldn't, make it look like it's a very serious issue. Of course, the government is in control. Do you see any disparity in that?
I don't like it when we begin to compare third world countries with third world countries. That's you are making the matter worse. I mean, call Mexico. Why should Mexico be the comparison with it? There was a time when, if we had managed our country well, Nigeria cannot even be compared to America. Yes. We did not manage, we didn't handle it. So now we are falling so low that we are being compared with Mexico. Mexico as a third world country, ridden by drugs and corruption. At least we don't have the drug issue to the quantum they have in Mexico. So why are we being compared? When you compare failure to failure, it means that the analysis we are doing here is rooted in complete sham. Because I know the problem they have in Mexico is something worrisome. You understand? Even in part of what is going on in the Middle East, where there's war, and the part where there's no war but it's stormed. There are countries where you have a lot of issues. Issues are peculiar to those countries. But in the case of Nigeria, and most of these countries we're even talking about that have many issues, those countries have amenities.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just telling
There's
you.
electricity
They have
and
basic,
exactly.
It's just that they are not able to manage their human conduct proper.
Exactly.
And their government is unable to curtail the excesses of the citizen. Here, you don't have anything to just start with. That is the problem.
All right, so doctor, let's take a look. Let's take a forensic view on this particular case. According to a figure we have here, it has zones with the highest number of killings. Now, the southeast comes the least with 158. The northwest is about 793. Now, zones with the highest number of kidnappings also. The southeast is 20. As against the northwest was 1,290. In fact, the southwest is about 30. Now, the question is, with the case of secession, with the case of all of those things happening in the southeast of Nigeria, why is it that the southeast of Nigeria is recording a minimal in all of this?
You see, the truth is this. Before we even go to those analysis of sectional crime and the quantum and level and quantity, let's look at the source. The source where the kidnapping started in Nigeria. Where it started in the south.
Okay.
And the kidnap then was they kidnapped the white men, the shell workers, and all that, and demand for ransom, and they get ransom. That's where it started from.
Yeah.
And now, if you look at that arrangement, South is not even mentioned. Is it mentioned?
Yeah, South is there. For the highest number of killings, they have 161.
No, I mean a kidnapping.
Yes, exactly.
It's there.
Yes, it's there.
Is it as high as the South?
No, exactly. No, not,
but that is
not
where
at all.
But that is where it started from. So later, we started kidnapping our own people, and we started getting ransom. Even the North is the last place kidnapping got to. I'm just telling you, the North is. But now, if you check the record, they have overtaken.
Exactly, it's the highest actually.
Yeah, every other section
zones,
of the country. So everything still boils down to the fact that whether South, North, East, West, there's a failing critically on security, serious one. And if you go back and check our budget for the last 10 years, we have spent more on security.
Security votes and
yes, we have spent more there, and then we've had more crisis. Okay, now we're recording quarterly, 3 months. See the number.
The humongous number.
If this thing happened any other place in the world, you have this in 3 months, the president will resign.
Very true.
Will resign because it means that you are incapable of managing a country. Exactly. That's what it means.
Very true. So quickly, let's go on to the Vanguard newspaper for today. Also, we have the banner headline here saying top manufacturers list woes in core 266 billion naira losses in just 1 year. And we have on the top strip of the same newspaper, Okwama Ewu identifies 11 persons killed by military and 413 houses destroyed after that particular carnage. And also we have on the bottom strip of the same newspaper, Edo Goba, Akoko Edo PDP stakeholders meet plot victory for Ihodalo. And let's talk about manufacturing in Nigeria. Every sustainable, successful economy anywhere in the world lies on its manufacturing base. When manufacturers are counting losses, it means the economy is equally losing out. It means that the leader of such an economy is equally losing out. Now, what can you say about this humongous loss that we have? 266 billion naira losses in just 1 year.
Yeah, you will record that once you don't have electricity, manufacturers cannot function. You understand? Now, the loss stems from this. Those who are so egghead and they are so optimistic about the Nigerian state, which is a good thing, who, despite all the odds, are still manufacturing. You know what they do? They import generating sets, okay, in quantum. And for them to be able to manufacture, they have some companies will need to have 4, 5, 6 big, industrial generators. Sets. Yeah. You understand? Which cost a lot. Okay. Now the diesel they will use to run it cost a lot. Now by the time they finish production, they have to add that running cost into the products. Okay. Now, all those funds they used to buy generator, they used to buy the diesel, they used to buy all the
maintenance of
maintenance because there is no power supply. It's the losses we are talking about.
Oh, okay.
And at the end of the day, when the product is eventually out, the unit cost of each of these products, you have to factor in the running cost. So it will become expensive. So that is why some of them, especially the multinationals, left to Ghana, where there's constant power supply. So they're able to produce and export to us.
Okay.
In so doing, we're losing out. Because the tax they used to pay us here, company income tax and other variable tax, they would no longer get it. Their contribution to our economy in terms of the size of our economy, we have lost that to other countries that have power supply. So the loss is evident when you don't have power. Just if you just reduce it to a home of a 3-bedroom flat and all that. The day you use generating sets, if you use it throughout the day for 2 days, you have to look for how to either service it the 3rd day, or you need to change, or you need to do something. Because generator is not designed to run 24 hours. It is designed as an intervention. When there's no power supply, temporarily you put on the generating set to get on track. When power supply is restored, you off the generating set. But once you start to own the generating set to run from morning to night and the next day, it cannot go beyond 1 week before it will pack up. So what should we do? Those who have promised us that they will lead us right, they will do all it takes, all it will take to bring this country to order. Some of them are importers of generator. So that we are going to get light in this country and in our generation is something that we have to commit our entire soul to the God of creation.
Very true.
Because they have made it look like it is impossible to have 24 hours lights, power. You understand? What is going on now? The national grid is collapsing every day. So that's why the companies are taking a walk. So because until you're able to make your country business friendly, no investor will come here to start doing all these things we're talking about.
Very true. Let's quickly, maybe in 60 seconds, I still want you to look at this story that made headline on Vanguard. Maybe before we move on to the next paper, Okwama Ewu identifies 11 persons killed by military, 413 houses destroyed. And I'd love you to maybe take a look at it. Immediately after the Nigerian Biafran civil war, it took the southeast of Nigeria, and of course the south also, more than 30 years to recover from the carnage that happened there. And now we have about 413 houses destroyed in one community, one small community. How do you think these people can recover? And how long do you think that can be? And of course, what do you think is the economic effect on Delta State, if possible?
It's a serious loss. I mean, one that was avoidable. Okay. I hope both the community and the army have learned anything from this. I just hope so, because that community, that's why they don't want journalists to go in and anybody to go in. That community was completely displaced.
Razed down.
Yes, was displaced completely. The fact the people and the entire community, they were completely displaced. So we can't say this enough, that to have that place rejuvenated, the Delta State government must, as a matter of urgency and necessity, intervene.
Okay.
Yes.
To what extent?
Yeah, to intervene. Yes. I mean, those who have lost their homes, they have
rebuild.
To. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. That's why government exists. Government exists for the people. So because if the government abandons them, that will be another problem. Now, in that community, there are children who attend schools. They have been displaced. The schools have been displaced. Okay. Now, the session is ongoing. Okay. The session very soon will be in summer and all that. The session is ongoing. The children are not in school. I don't know how the children are going to cope. The women who are the most vulnerable, women and children who are the most vulnerable during crisis, war, and all that, armed conflict, those ones are displaced too. Then the entire family, the men, everyone is affected. So that community cannot come back to life
in the near distant.
Yes, until there is an assistance or intervention from the government. And the government must do that. It's important. What has happened has happened. That place is still part of Delta State, no matter what.
And hopefully lessons have been learned.
Yes, lessons have been learned, and the government must ensure that that place is turned around.
All right, so quickly, let's move on to our last daily for today. It's coming from the Punch newspaper, and the big headline here says, Emefiele's social programs. Banks withhold 530 billion naira CBN fund. Cardoso may order a refund. And the writer here says, Access Bank, GTB, FCMB, 6 other banks, that is, keep unused funds. SMEs seek fresh loans. And on the top strip of the same newspaper, we have the government probes $500 million local content loans project. And also on the bottom strip of the same newspaper, we have an image here of what seems like CNG buses. And the story here that says the federal government rolls out 2,700 CNG buses, tricycles by May 18. Doctor, let's take a look at this issue. The Emefiele saga. And now it's saying that Emefiele, when he was a CBN governor, withheld 530 billion naira CBN funds for SMEs. And now Cardoso is saying he's going to ensure that there is a refund to that. Will this make the case of Emefiele worse than it is?
He withheld it.
Yes.
Withholding it, as the money expended.
No, yes, it is not, because the banks that, of course, that were given such money so it could get to the SMEs didn't allow that rollout.
Yes.
So that means that money is still domiciled in some of these banks, which automatically means it's still with the CBN.
Yes, so the option is to refund, like you said,
yes,
like Cardoso said. I mean, that is the right thing to do, except the CBN in its monetary policy still want to go ahead with the program. Okay, if they are not going to go ahead with the program, then there must be a refund to that effect. Because you see, CBN under Emefiele encountered a lot. I mean, the Emefiele led CBN in a way that you begin to wonder and imagine whether he had his senses put together. He was a CBN governor. He was trying to vie for political office while he was still governor of that state, governor of the CBN. He was involved in too many things at the same time. Sometimes he left the functions of the CBN and began to go into other issues that has to do with production and all that. So there are a lot of issues, which that is why he's even in trouble in the first place. It's either he's arraigned here today, he's arraigned here tomorrow, he's arraigned here and all that. There are over 4 concurrent criminal charges in 4 different courts that are going on at the same time. Okay? The week before this week, he was arraigned in one of the courts in Lagos here, at the Federal High Court. There's a case in Abuja. There's another case, a sister case in the same Federal High Court. There's another one. So,
do you think he can survive this?
Well, he will have to survive it because even though they are all allegations, the prosecution will need to come and prove why and what the offenses are and how they intend to go about the matter. But I think the issue of this for SMEs, the federal government must revisit it. Yes, we need that program. We need that program. The SMEs are no longer many persons who are running SMEs have closed up.
Definitely true.
They've gone to the UK to do menial jobs, to wash plates and to do care jobs and all that. Many of them. So the ones that are left, who are still optimistic, who are still pushing, yes, we need to sustain that program and we need to do it well. We need to support every business person in this country. That is what is left. If we want to run down what is left, then we'll be the very
there will be
big
nothing
trouble.
left.
Yes.
Eventually. Well, that's just about the time we have for our newspaper reviews. Love to say thank you to you, Dr. Van Suveli, for being part of our show today. And just to let you know, Dr. Van Suveli will remain with us to do the main conversation also. So when we return, although Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa emerges winner of the APC governorship primaries, that in a bit, when we come back, please don't go anywhere.